What up? What up? What is going on, everybody? The Redshirt podcast is back. Week 0 is in the chapter books. I am your host, DG. Glad to have everybody back again tonight, man. With us, man. My boy Tre at that way 816 is in the building with us tonight, man. Exciting week 0, man. K State goes over to Ireland and suffers defeat to the Iowa State Cyclones. KU opens the season at home in a new, well, not new, but in a renovated stadium, and gets a big dub over Fresno State. The Hawaii Rainbow Warriors take down the Stanford Cardinal. Was not expecting that. That was actually really exciting. Uh, And then, of course, we're going into now officially week 1 of the official college football season. Well, I won't say official because it was official last week, but week 1 is upon us now. And, now everybody in the college football landscape gets to play. So, Tre, how you doing tonight? How you feeling, man? How's week 0 for you, my brother?
Boy, it was great to see it cut on a game. Unfortunately, it wasn't college game day because we know why. But great to always cut on a Saturday. Finally see a college football game back on the TV.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you said. It sucks that we had Christian on here last week, where we were hyped talking about Kansas State and they weren't able to get the job done. In a very eventful game because not only was that game very interesting as the game got towards the end, for all the people we were betting over and under with, yeah, that was very much so a sweater. Me and our good friend also with Tell the Truth. Our good friend CJ, he and I were going back and forth on the over under, and he got the last laugh. I thought it was gonna hit over.
What game was it?
It was a K-State out game. I was agreeing with what Christian was saying. Christian was sitting over here saying take the 50, take the 50. It was 49.5.
That joint was like 7-0.
It was at 7-0. It was so close for hitting the other over. If he actually crossed that line, the over hits.
Yeah, the game, man. The weather got a little funky over in Ireland, which was to be expected, obviously. I mean, I think they said in Ireland it rains like 156 days out of the year over there or something like that, which is pretty much half the year. So it was raining off and on. I think that kind of had a little bit of effect over both teams early on.
Yes.
Took a little bit of adjusting to What the wacky part to me was like, bro, I couldn't see the field. Like the lines was faded. It looked like they was just playing in somebody's backyard at a certain.
I'm like, can we get a digital first down line, please? Like, I don't know where it is.
And then they wasn't the broadcast wasn't putting the first down, so I didn't know where first down was, how far teams needed to go. They were just out there playing, dog.
We were like, all right, cool, whatever.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Anyway, obviously the game started off a little bit rough. I think Avery Johnson early on took a little bit of time for him to kind of get into a rhythm, especially with how the weather was kind of affecting things in that nature. But I thought at the end he was the main reason why K-State was in the game. To be honest with you.
Yeah.
I thought Iowa State really impressed. That defense really impressed me, especially early on. I think both defenses played actually fairly well early on. K-State's secondary held up, like Christian has kind of talked about. I know that was one of his big worries going into the game, but I think that young secondary kind of held up a lot better than a lot of people thought that they were going to. It was a defensive struggle fest for about 3.5-ish quarters, and then we had some fireworks there in the fourth quarter that made that game interesting.
Yeah.
So, what was your thoughts on Iowa State's performance?
Number one, like what you said, I wasn't like, of course, you don't expect rain, but you weren't gonna think like, oh, we're not gonna be able to see yardage, yard lines, all of that. But I mean, it is what it is. Game got to get played. It's whatever. What's up with it? Uh, I thought it was a struggle fest for both teams. I didn't think that one quarterback looked absolutely better than the other. I think that both of them were in a bit of a conundrum. The fact that when we look at it, I was going back and I was looking at the play-by-play. I was like, "Dang, when was the first time somebody completed a pass?" It was at the 7:58 minute of the second quarter. There's 15-minute quarters.
Yeah.
So that means half of a first half of a first quarter, nobody completed a pass.
Right.
Uh, I felt like both defenses, kind of like what you said, both defenses look very well. Bro, what we said it with Christian last week. We're gonna say it again. K-State, they don't really K-State and Iowa State, they don't bring in big time recruits, but somehow, some way, they know how to develop some players.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was just Rocco. Rocco, he looked like he showed some flashes. Avery did as well. I think that this, if it was me, honestly, a lot of this was built upon Chris Kleiman trying too hard. I think Chris Kleiman was. I do get the weather restrictions, and we did see in an instance Iowa State went for a field goal in those conditions, and he missed.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to understand, it's like when you're at a certain yardage, take the 3. Like, I get it. Fourth down looks really enticing. Take the 3.
Yeah.
Iowa State's run game was looking very well. I mean, it was a grudge match. And again, dude, that was a sweat for the bettors, man, because I was like, we thought at first it went from 49.5 to 51.5, and then went right back to 50.5.
Right. Yeah, I think early on, and we'll probably get into this now. Them losing, I think K-State losing Dylan Edwards kind of affected their game plan a lot. I think that the game plan was going to be predominantly featured around him, and I think once that kind of got derailed, it was kind of up to Chris Kleiman and them to kind of make some adjustments and go to some different guys. I know Joe Jackson kind of stepped in there for a little bit and was able to, kind of carry the weight for some part of the game. But I just feel like he didn't have that same explosion that they were looking for out of that they would kind of get out of Dylan Edwards in certain points, especially in the receiving part of the game. I know that was probably a big key for them to get Avery in an early rhythm, trying to get the ball out of his hands kind of quicker, especially with how the weather was kind of affecting things. I was impressed with what Jace Brown was able to do. I thought he looked explosive at certain points in time. I don't think they featured him enough once the game kind of got going. He ended up with 4 catches for 78 yards. I think that they probably should have tried to get the ball in his hands a little bit more. I think he's obviously next to Dylan Edwards, one of their better playmakers. But yeah, I mean, I just think K-State I think they just got in the game a little too late, and it was once they got down, it was just way too late for them to try to muster anything to get back into it. How did you feel like the Dylan Edwards injury kind of affected the game?
I think it really very much so affected it, because it was like you could see. This is no disrespect to Joe Jackson, but we talk about Dylan Edwards for a reason. It's not just because he's from local, kind of from Derby, Kansas. It's because this kid has some serious speed. We saw it at Colorado. We saw a little bit of it at Kansas State last year. When you're going from a speedster like that, who has 4.3 speed for sure, to a guy like Joe Jackson, who doesn't really have that kind of speed, you're talking about apples to oranges. Granted, they're both fruit, but you can really tell that things are different. And you definitely saw it in the first drive for Kansas State. Kansas State was trying to establish the run. Joe was trying to, but he wasn't really getting his own, because not only is that Iowa State defense tenacious, but when it comes to the field conditions, things get a little different.
Yeah.
And then plus, I mean, as much as we talk about Avery Johnson's not going to be able to run and throw. Like he's a quarterback. He's not a running back and a quarterback. Though he is a dual threat, he can't do both.
Yeah.
I think Iowa State just had a great game plan. They said we're going to stack the box and we're going to make you have to throw the ball, and clearly it was working because the first team to complete a pass was Iowa State.
Yeah.
So it just kind of got to that point to where it was like it was a grudge match. It was slow. It was 7-7 going in a half, and then that's when things started picking up. But I think both defenses really had a lot to prove, a lot to showcase. I think both offenses had a lot to struggle with, but obviously, like what you said, Iowa State was the one who came out on top. They were able to figure out it sooner.
Yeah, it seems as though Matt Campbell, man, has really built this program to a point where he's come in and been able to dominate pretty much at this point. K State in this rivalry, for the longest time, K State had been the kind of dominant team in this rivalry, and now tables have flipped, and Matt Campbell's program has obviously taken over and been able to do wonders for that Iowa State program or whatever. I was extremely impressed with how well the defensive line played, especially early on. They were flying around. I thought K-State was really having a tough time early on trying to get the run game going, and I think that really ultimately affected how things with Avery Johnson and the pass game and being able to protect him at points in time. So, but yeah, I think moving forward, K-State, I think they'll be fine. I still would have them as a contender to win the Big 12. I think that they would probably hope that they don't see Iowa State anymore down the road at this point, because I just think that this is probably a matchup, especially from the coaching perspective, that right now, I mean, you can pretty much say Matt Campbell has Chris Kleiman's number. So something Chris Kleiman's gonna have to figure out.
And I mean, I don't want, because we've been saying this, and we said this last week for sure. This probably ain't the only time we might see him. We might see him in December come conference championship game. Mm-hmm. We might have former getting that's the Big 12 championship game, but I mean, there's still a lot of season, clearly a lot of season left. But I wouldn't, like what you said, I wouldn't count Kansas State out. I wouldn't count Iowa State out. Yes. Both teams were battling injuries. As what Christian said, there were some key pieces missing on both sides. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, what do both of these teams look like when they're fully healthy?
Yeah.
But I mean, it is what it is. As of right now, Iowa State definitely has Kansas State's number, and it's up to Kansas State to make up for it.
Yeah, the good news for K-State next week. Actually, this coming up Saturday, 6:00 at home, they get North Dakota, FCS school. So I'm assuming that they'll be able to pretty much go out there and whoop up on a lowly opponent that they're probably taking on. Did hear today that Dylan Edwards will not be playing. I don't think he'll be back for that game or the Army game as well either. So I'm not sure what he did on that punt. He didn't look hurt to me, but knowing how weird an international field is, I don't know what actually happened. It looked like for a moment there he was going to come back into the game or whatever. He was sitting on the sideline with his helmet, and then the next thing I know, he's in the locker room. So I think that could be something that, to monitor, especially for K-State. I think they definitely have to get him back if they really want to have a chance at winning this Big 12 title or whatever and making the CFP. So yeah, that's a massive component to their program at this point.
For sure.
I know K-State fans are probably about to be mad at me for this, but I do have to bring it up. There's a little bit of dramatics after the game. Shout out to my guy Avery Johnson, man. I know family ties can be, something to really try to navigate. But Avery Johnson, his dad and his brother ended up getting into a little bit of a family altercation. After the game, there was a statement released from both of them. We sincerely apologize for our actions following the football game in Ireland. Senseless bickering escalated into an unnecessary fight. We have resolved our differences and take full responsibility for our actions. We have to apologize to our immediate and extended family and now extend our apologies to K-State University, its alumni, fans. We regret this incident and have learned from it and are committed to ensuring it doesn't happen again. Please accept our deepest apologies. Mark and Anthony Johnson. I'm gonna be honest, I don't mean to sound rude. I didn't know that Avery Johnson's dad was black. That was my first time finding out. I was like, that was an interesting fact. All right, Avery Johnson's dad is okay, But obviously, man, this is something you never want to see. My thoughts go out to Avery Johnson. I know that's probably something a little bit difficult to have to deal with and see after a game, seeing your two people you love the most kind of going at it. Hopefully, this is just a one-time thing. I understand, things get heated, especially after losing a game like that, flying all the way to Ireland and losing in that kind of fashion. Had to be a little bit rough. So hopefully that family can get everything figured and worked out at this point. But it was news, so I had to bring it up. I'm sorry, K-State fans, if you hate me for that. I'm not trying to buy into the negativity or anything like that, but that's what we do here. I'm sorry. But anyway, go ahead.
I was sitting over there thinking the same thing because that was the number one thing I was coming out saying. Avery Johnson's black. Like, oh my.
I hope anybody who's watching this. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I only watched Avery Johnson last year for a couple games, and if he flashed whatever. I didn't know anything personally about him up until this point, and when I seen that, I said, "Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know that."
Look, either way, I think that one of the missing things is why didn't you apologize to Avery? Because Avery's getting the most heat out of this.
Yeah, Avery's the one that got to answer for everything.
Avery is probably the one who's getting the most ridicule. Like, yeah, you're representing Kansas State. Yeah, you're representing the football team. Yeah. But Avery Johnson is the reason why you're here. Your son and your brother are the reason why you're here.
Yeah, yeah.
So it kind of looks like, I feel like, honestly, Avery should have deserved an apology as well. Because it's like, it happens. I know a lot of tensions are high, especially losing a Farmageddon and you lose in the way you did. Mm-hmm. Avery still deserves an apology. Yeah. Like, it was wild. And I was like, looking, I was like, did they really got – I thought at first it was clickbait. I was like,
yeah. At first I was like, okay, what two K-State fans got into it, Yeah, I'm thinking just drunk people, Ireland,
right,
had a beer.
Yeah.
And then they said, that's Avery Johnson's dad and his brother. What?
So the father getting into it with the other side?
Like, the family is fighting?
And they fight each other.
Like, I could see if, somebody was talking mess about Avery and they had jumped somebody else, or something like that. But I was like, they fighting each other. Like, what could they have gotten to it about? But, it is what it is, man. Hopefully that whole issue is resolved. And hopefully K-State and Chris Conn and Avery Johnson, all of them, can move on to next week and beat up on North Dakota University and take them down. So we will move to our next local team here, the KU Jayhawks open the new renovated, is it the David Booth Stadium? David Booth Stadium. You look like you're so disgusted. Open the new David Booth Stadium with a resounding victory over the Fresno State Bulldogs, 31-7. I lost money on this game. I was not happy about that. Jalen Daniels definitely sold me. He was supposed to have over 250 pass and rushing yards, and he did not hit that number. They took him out once the game turned into a blowout. So thank you, Fresno State, for not doing your job and being competitive. You as well, EJ Warner, because I had money on you and you sold me too. So,
Yeah. Great job.
but yeah, resounding victory, man, for the Kansas Jayhawks. I thought they looked impressive as far as who they were actually playing. I know Kansas fans are definitely hyped about this victory. I think that they should probably simmer those thoughts a little bit. You know, Fresno State's not really been never known for their football program outside of Derek Carr and Devontae Adams coming out of that school. But yeah, man, what was your thoughts and feelings on the game for the Kansas Jayhawks?
See, this is why I say what I say. Well, shout out Mark Gunnels. That's my dog. We love him to death. Right, Chuck?
Yeah, right.
Shout out my dog Mark Gunnels. Shout out my guy Eric Lapardis. This is
Don't
why
forget Big B, Brian Jones,
Brian Jones, all the Kansas KU Chiefs fans that we know and love. When my good friend Mark put out a post saying less than 3 hours away, and I put it out there. I said, "Look, y'all playing Fresno. Y'all playing Fresno State. Please do not act like y'all are playing Kansas State for the
they
big
beat Bama.
Yeah. We can't be happy about our team. We can't be excited for the season. You can. But then the game got played. And now I'm hearing Jalen Daniels for Heisman again? And you to the college football playoff? And I'm like, again, this is Fresno. No disrespect to the Fresno State Bulldog fans.
Yes.
Cool. But do not sit over here and act like you play some inferior opponent where you were the underdog and just absolutely steamrolled them. You didn't. You played Fresno at your home state. Now the atmosphere, I only watched for a little bit. Atmosphere was good. I fell asleep. Atmosphere was decent. Jalen looked all right. He looked good for the. Yeah, he's sitting over there saying Jalen Daniels is back. He's going to be a contributor for Big 12 Player of the Year. This, that, and the third. Mind you, you haven't played Missouri. You haven't played TCU. You haven't played Iowa State. You haven't played Kansas State. You just finished playing your first game of the year. And then this upcoming Saturday, you're playing Wagner. Again, Jalen Daniels looked decent. He looked good. He had three touchdowns, but he had less than 200 yards. KU is probably going to be a running back by committee because we saw a lot of players get the ball in rushing attempts, and they went for over 200 yards. Yeah. Again, you took care of something you were supposed to do. Okay? It's great. It's exciting. I know you're back to being 1-0, especially seeing where they came from because I still got the screenshot to troll here and there. Mind you, it had been quite some time. They rushed and they stormed the field against South Dakota years ago. So I understand things have changed. Lance Leipold is great.
Yeah.
I think this Kansas defense looked all right. They look solid. They got 10 points off of turnovers. They were able to cause 3 turnovers, which I thought was solid. Their offense looks a little bit more versatile because we knew it was like outside of Luke Grimm and Quentin Skinner or whoever the fuck else. They were like, okay, cool. They were able to hold Fresno to 37 yards. Again, it's Fresno. and Cam Pickett was their leading receiver, six catches for 77 yards and 2 touchdowns. It was great. I think it was a great setup for them. You won. Don't act like y'all didn't go back and forth with these guys at the beginning of the first quarter. Like there was at one point in time, it was 14-7, and y'all were getting ready to head to the second quarter.
Yeah, early on, I thought I was like, okay, well, this is gonna, I'm excited now. This is gonna turn into a shootout. Fresno State's gonna be in this game, and Kansas is gonna have to put up a lot of points to win this game. So I'll get to hit on some of my props. But yeah, that didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to. EJ Warner, man, yeah,
Bring it up again.
Yeah. Kurt, you might want to tell your son to get out of that school because that offensive line cannot protect him to save their lives.
Can't even guard the traffic cone
against Kansas. Then he made some boneheaded throws that I was like, why are you throwing the ball there? But yeah, man. Obviously, after that first drive from Fresno State, they looked a little bit more rattled after that. And I think the wheels just kind of came falling off for Fresno State. JD6, as he's being called, I thought he was impressive. I'll give him his props. I thought he was impressive. Especially, but for I had to kind of err with caution just because the opponent that you're facing. I'd like to see it against a little bit tougher competition or whatever. But I thought for what for what he was able to do, he was obviously the best player on the field that day. And I think he's virtually for Fresno State unstoppable. Which leads me into my next question. Do you think that JD6 should be considered as a dark horse Heisman candidate?
Man, I wish I was on a Twitter space, boy. I had that.
Are you buying stock in the JD6 Heisman hopes?
We did this last year. He looked good against Lindenwood. He looks good against who else they play? Some other lower level D1 school.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't ran into UNLV and looked like absolute dog water.
Mm-hmm. Hey man, I'm just telling you what was circulating in the Twitter spaces. I heard.
What's KU? What's KU schedule look like? Hold on.
JD6 should be considered for the Heisman Trophy. Big 12 Player of the Year.
No.
That's what you can't admit.
No.
There's a chance that Kansas we can buy stock and maybe them winning the Big 12.
No. No. Answer is no. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking at their schedule right now. After Wagner, after you get 2 little cupcakes, cool, you get your little feet wet. Boom, you going against a border war showdown between Missouri and Kansas in Faroe. You get Wagner, and you turn back the next Saturday.
Yes.
And you playing against one of the rising up-and-coming teams in the SEC. Mm-hmm. You think I'm honestly, I'm not just saying this as a Missouri fan, but as if you look from the outside in, this is a Missouri team that is 17th in all of Division I football in returning product, mainly on the defensive side of the ball. I'm going to tell you this like this. In a hostile environment, it is sold out. I had a friend of mine say, hey, let's go to the KU. Brother, it's sold out. It's been sold out for probably about a month now.
Right.
You are sitting over here. I'm never going to buy into it. He's got to look decent against Missouri. He's got to look good against West Virginia, which even though West Virginia wasn't that great, kind of like what Chris said, teams can change. You go to UCF. People overlook UCF, but UCF can get crunk. And then you got Cincinnati right before then. Then you got at Texas Tech. If this is lined up correctly, hold on, I gotta look correctly. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
This might be if the Chiefs play early, Patrick Mahomes will be in attendance.
Right.
Even then, Lubbock is a very hostile environment. No, I am not buying on no JD6. Even when Jaden Daniels was in college football, I was calling him JD5. I said, who is this?
Right.
This is the oldest quarterback in the Big 12. No. You did, again, he did what he was supposed to do against Fresno. He better do what he's supposed to do against Wagner. If he comes up looking like booty against Missouri, I don't ever want to hear anything else ever again about Jalen Daniels until he gets drafted.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm kind of out too as well. I'm buying early stock right now. I applaud the Jayhawks, man, for going out and taking care of business in a newly renovated stadium. Which I will say the atmosphere was bananas. It looked awesome in there. I give the campus, all the students, everybody their props. The atmosphere looked great. It looks like it's going to be a great place to go and catch a college football game. I love what they did with the place. So it looks absolutely beautiful.
It looks nice. Yeah, it does.
But yeah, man, I'm just not on the hype train just yet. So shout out to the KU fans, man, for their faith. But I think by come November, you guys will be fully invested into basketball.
Well, you'll be back to basketball. Right. You'll be back to basketball. What did you say? Go cheer on basketball.
Darian Peterson will be the biggest thing on campus.
Y'all be talking about, I can't wait for the season to start.
Yeah.
Football's already up. I'm talking basketball.
That's gonna be a wrap for our local teams, man. Here,
no, we got one more.
What you mean? I'm talking about for week 0.
Oh yeah, week 0. Yeah.
We getting there.
We getting there. We
getting there. Oh yeah, for week 0, man. So Kansas takes on Wagner. You said Kansas takes on Wagner next week.
Wagner known for being in the NCAA tournament. I know
that. Kansas takes on Wagner. K-State obviously going up against North Dakota, so check out those games if in your respective.
Hold on, I got one more thing. Why did they put it on Fox?
Cool.
Why did they put KU on Fox?
It was no other. Look, you listen. You had no other game
versus Hawaii on Fox.
Stanford and Hawaii was on CBS, so it was on national television.
Put them on Big 12 Network.
Listen, it was barely any games going. The biggest game of the day was supposed to be Iowa State and K-State. So you had to put somebody. Somebody had to play.
I had to click a link to watch Utah State versus UNLV, and that game was way better.
Yeah, I can't lie to you, man. Fox, don't ever put EJ Warner on my screen ever again. Don't ever do that. That was absolutely horrid. But anyway, we move. Going in now into week 1, man. Like I said, everybody in the college football landscape is going to be playing now. We got a lot of great games this week, even just outside of our local teams, Notre Dame and I believe Miami.
Yeah,
play each other. Miami. We got Clemson versus LSU. That should be a great game. Yeah, that should be a real good game. But obviously, like I said, we're going to always focus on our local teams. So your University of Missouri Tigers are set to take on an FCS school, Central Arkansas, in their first endeavor in game. Yeah, man. Obviously, Trey is resoundingly excited about facing the Central Arkansas at this point. So, but we do have a little bit of news heading into this game. We got a little bit of quarterback controversy going on in Colombia. So Trey, would you love to speak to us about how Eli Drinkwitz is going to handle this quarterback situation on Saturday
I want to do a count on three.
or Thursday?
Missouri
My bad.
all the
Yeah,
Missouri
come on.
fans, I want us to get that same look on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Like, Drink, I love you, man. I love the fact that you try and keep it so crazy, mysterious. Make it look. Nah, this was different. I love the fact that my coach loves to keep things mysterious.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now, brother. Anybody who sees if you saw the MLB draft, yes, one of the guys that we have playing quarterback got drafted by the Los Angeles Dodgers and Sam Horn. He's only gonna be here for this season, and he's gone. You're telling me you want me to believe that a guy who's not even going to be playing college football in 6 months is going to be saying, "Oh, we're supposed to be. Oh, he's going to be the starter." We invested a lot of NIL money into this transfer from Penn State, Bo Prabula, and we want us to think, "Oh, Sam might get the starting job." Come on, brother. I love you, Eli, but you got to make things a little bit more interesting than that. At least give something that doesn't give all points. Yeah,
Hold on. Ultimately, you think going forward is going to be Bo? It's going to end up being
brother. Bo Prabula or Sam Horn. Like, you going to put a good giant or. Like, come on now. We know how it is.
Yeah.
He did the whole thing. We're going to give both of them a captain.
Yeah, when I heard the news, I was like, what? They gonna start 2 quarters? Okay, yeah. Mizzou's obviously not taking this game serious at all. And I don't know, man. If I was a Central Arkansas fan, that kind of pissed me off. I'm gonna start 2 quarterbacks on this. This a preseason game?
Look, Matt. Look, I got a buddy of mine that I work with. He goes, "Shit, fuck it. Put Max Zollers in. He's back. Cool." But it's just we gotta understand things. And then he even doubled down on it, and he said Bo's he's just gonna start the first half only, and then the second half, then Sam is gonna get his in. We knew once Brady was named the starter back in 2022, we knew Sam was over with. I thought Sam was gonna hit the transfer portal, but he liked our coaches so much, which shout out to us, cool.
Sam said, "I'm here to stay."
Yeah, he was like, "I'm good." I'm like, "All right, great,
love it here,
great." But we gotta understand things. Not to say Sam doesn't have athleticism. Mm-hmm. Sam ain't as athletic as Bo. Bo's more athletic. Name me a time when we had a pocket passer who doesn't have good speed as our starting quarterback. Blaine Gabbert. That's because Blaine Gabbert was like that.
Yeah. Blaine Gabbert definitely had the arm talent at that point.
Exactly.
To compete at that level and stay, But yeah, predominantly, Mizzou has always kind of had a dual threat QB.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So, Bo being the starter moving forward, what do you expect to see from him in the first half?
A lot of running. Honestly, whatever his running odds are, his rushing yards are, I'm taking the over on that because I think he's definitely going to run. I think that we're going to see a lot of times where he's just going to sit back and he's going to play with the way.
Not too much on Blaine Vic.
Blaine Vic is crazy. I think that honestly, we're gonna see. The only thing I really want to see from Bo is I just want to be able to see him do what we know him to be, which is show off a little bit of arm talent, be able to make the right decisions, know when to run, don't get too trigger happy, but just play within the flow of the game and be yourself. Like people like to overlook him because he was the backup and he couldn't beat out. What's his name? Who the fuck is it? Drew Alar over at Penn State. But if you actually know the story about Bo, Bo's dream school was Penn State. So it was just kind of that whole thing. Him and Penn State don't have beef. They were wishing him nothing but the best. They knew he couldn't participate if something were to happen to Penn State. He couldn't play in any of the college football games. It is what it is. And especially coming off of the year last year where we did with Brady, I think that Brady could have done a lot better. But I think that this is going to be the year where Bo gets to show off and have a chip on his shoulder and play like the quarterback he knows himself to be. It's going to be a lot of excitement for me. I'm not going to sit over here and put out a fucking tweet talking about some 3 hours away. I'm going to sit over here and enjoy – I'm going to enjoy the minute. I'm sorry, Mark. I love you to death, brother. You got me you had me tight on that, boy. But it is what it is. I can't wait. Honestly, I'm more – like I'm not even focused on Bo. I'm going to be focused on our sophomore running back, Ahmad Hardy.
Well, hold on. Before you get into that, I was going to give me 2 players that you think everybody, one offense, one defense, that everybody should be watching outside of Bo and the quarterback situation.
Can I give you 3? Then we have a lot.
You can go 3.
Outside of Bo, definitely Ahmad Hardy. Like I said, that's our sophomore running back. We got him out of transfer at the University of Louisiana Monroe. We already have an idea what he is. Yes, everybody will know his name by September 6th. I hope KU fans know more.
I got a special guest for that week as well.
Right. I can't wait for that. I'm decked out in black and gold for that day. I think that another guy, another transfer guy, Kevin Coleman in the third, we call him KC3, LB3, KC3 now. Taking Luther's number, he said that he wants it to be a St. Louis number. So he's kind of filling in for the Roses Luther. Not to say that you can, because Luther was just that kind of player, and you're kind of seeing it with him with the Bears. But I think that he's going to be able to give similar production, give Bo a target that he can rely on, especially on third downs, and a guy who can give us similar production. Last but not least, people think I might go Marquise Johnson, a.k.a. Keys, but I'm going with a hometown kid that I've known since I was a freshman in high school. Me and his brother went to high school together. I got to watch him grow up. That's my dude. I always make sure I text him and let him know, hey, I appreciate, love him to death. That's my little bro. Hopefully he does well on Thursday. I'm going with the local kid, former 4-star recruit, Josh Manning. Josh, he's been sitting behind some players, ready. He's been ready to go. I think that he's ready to finally make his name on the scene. I think that especially now, Kirby loves him. I think Drink has loved him because they were one of the first few guys, a part of that 22 class or 22 or 23 class that really, gave him a lot to look forward to. So I think that Josh is going to be able to step on the scene. I'm not going to say that he's got to be Theo Weiss, but just be productive, show up, especially on third down situations, and just be the player that I know him to be. So I'm definitely going to say those 3 for sure. Defense, I don't really have anything to worry about. We're pretty much returning a lot of the same thing, but we kind of added on to that. But I think that offense, I think the biggest question is going to be on the offense, and I think those 3 are going to be the ones that I really look forward to seeing.
Okay. Heading to tomorrow. Well, tomorrow you guys play. What time you play tomorrow? 8?
7, 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm. Do you have a? Would you like to give a score prediction?
What's the spread?
That's a good question. Let me look that up for you.
What's the spread?
The spread that's disgusting.
I can't. Hold on.
I don't even think they have a spread on this game. That's crazy.
Hey, I just want to say before we even continue, I have no beef with Central Arkansas. Central Arkansas got one of my own favorite Bearcats. Shout out my dog. Shout out my dog Trey. He's gonna be. I guess he might play for him. third tomorrow. So if he gets a tackle, but yeah, I have no beef with Central Arkansas fans at all. But yeah, I don't know what the spread is. So
more than likely, it's probably going to be BTA.
let me. I think maybe if I take a look, 36.5. Good Lord, yes, we're covering.
Yeah,
we're going to cover.
I would ultimately hope to expect you know the Tigers to take care of business at home in their first game.
Sam Horn gonna play come middle of the second quarter.
Yeah, you guys starting two quarterbacks is crazy. That is disgusting work.
I don't know why Drake did it. I get it. You're trying to be mysterious.
It's like preseason is wild.
Be like, oh, we gonna have two quarterbacks. Oh, we don't know. They both been showing out.
Yeah, shout out to Missouri Tigers, man. Look forward to watching them get prepared.
Hey, put us on Fox. Fuck it.
Yeah, for their actual season that starts after week 1.
Can we get on Fox too?
No. You cannot.
If you gonna put Fresno on there, you gonna put Central Arkansas on there.
Right. But there is a big game coming up on Fox this Saturday. I think the game of the year. I know a lot of people are excited for this one. I've been hearing a lot of chirping, a lot of talk from the Ohio State faithful on that side. I've been hearing things like BTA for us, for the Texas Longhorns. It's been a lot of chatter going on.
Highlight that right there.
But yeah, man, Texas versus Ohio State, big noon kickoff coming up this Saturday, August 30th, man. It is I think it's gonna be an electric show.
Hold on. I think I should tell you this. I think I should be the one. You the fan now. You the fan. You the Texas. We got, not only is this is Lee Corso's last game at College Game Day.
Yeah.
Shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to the coach, man. They obviously did a nice little tribute to him. What was it? I think before week 0 happened or whatever, Kirk Herbstreit kind of was, man, I didn't realize how close. I mean, I guess you always realize how close him and Kirk Herbstreit have been working for years, but I brought Kirk Herbstreit to tears, man, just knowing that, coach is going to be a part of the seasons moving forward. But yeah, man. Shout out to Corso, man. Hopefully we get a nice mascot pick on College Game Day. But it's going to be electric, man. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. I think Ohio State, the shoe is going to be rowdy. This is a big test for the foreseeable future for the Texas Longhorns.
And I would just like to ask this. I know you've been hyping him up since he committed to you. Been hyping him up since last year. We got to see him against UTSA. You got to see him this game. But you're finally in the Arch Manning era at the University of Texas. He's got a pretty. How excited are you about having Arch Manning finally be a Manning is back in college football? How do you feel about you? The next Manning is now a Texas Longhorn.
So I know there's a lot of skepticism. A lot of people were questioning, is Arch really for real? And I think, I think he's heard of a lot of the outside noise. A lot of people doubting, saying, oh, he only played in limited snaps last year. I gotta see it to believe it, and I that's understandable. I don't mind people wanting to see it before or anything like that. For me, I think Arch gives us a different element to the game than Quinn Ewers could provide for us in his time at Texas. Really appreciate everything that Quinn Ewers was able to do for us. I wanted nothing more for him than to watch him, be able to win a national title for us. But I think Arch elevates this offense to a point where now you're not solely focused on our quarterback being basically being in the pocket. I think he gives us an element of with his legs that you have to account for now. I think it helps our run game obviously a lot more. That's something that going last year that we kind of struggled in because nobody was really nobody. Let's just be real. Nobody was playing it for Quinn Ewers or anything like that. So the option game, I think now is a little bit more. You have to be a little bit more focused in on that, knowing that Arch Manning, we obviously seen last year, can be able to take a touchdown to the house 50, 60 yards out or whatever, especially if you get him out in open field. And he's hard, obviously, to take down. So I think this offense you're going to see is going to be really elevated to a point that I think they're going to be extremely explosive. And now you bring him in also now with he's got his own group of guys that he's kind of already been working with, DeAndre Moore and Ryan Wingo, and and guys of that nature that he's already been able to throw to. Parker Livingstone. Trying to think of who else. But yeah, at this point in time that he's already been kind of working with, he's been throwing to those guys since last year. So I think that chemistry has kind of already been built up, along with now the running back room being, Contravion Wisner and CJ Baxter being back now. I think that gives them a real good 1-2 punch. CJ kind of brings that power back that we kind of need in between the tackles that runs real tough. And Tre kind of gives us that, elusive get out in open space kind of back, receiving kind of back that can give us a different 1-2 punch at this point in time. So, yeah, man, I'm excited for the Arch Manning era to start. I know a lot of people, like I said, have been talking how's he going to handle the Ohio State atmosphere and things of that nature. If people have looked at Sark's last couple of years, we've always kind of started, the last couple of years and going on these tough road environments early on in the year. And I think that really helps this program at the end of the year, once they get to these playoff games and these situations or whatever, to kind of be able to block out some of that noise or whatever. So, I'm not really doubtful that they can go in there and get a win. We've seen them do it when they went to Nick Saban's house and beat Alabama. We've seen them go and beat the defending national champions last year in a resounding effort against them, Michigan Wolverines. So I'm excited for how this is going to play out. And obviously there's the revenge factor to this game as well too, with Ohio State beating us last year in the college football semifinals in kind of heartbreaking fashion for us. So a lot of our players have talked about that game and how they remember. Colin Simmons has talked about walking off the field in that game, and Michael Taft and all those guys have talked about that at this point, and they remember those things. So I think they're extremely excited for this game. I know Ohio State is well too. I fully expect Ryan Day to have his team ready to go. Jeremiah Smith might be the best player in college football at this point in time. So it's going to be definitely a task to be able to stop him, but we've been able to do it before. So yeah, man, it's going to be tough. I think my biggest key to this game is taking Jeremiah Smith out of the game, making somebody else like a Carnell Tate or something like that beat us. Because you don't obviously want Jeremiah Smith going off and going for 200 something yards on us,
right?
Whatever. I know Ohio State is obviously starting the new kid in Julian Sayin at QB. I'm excited to see what he's going to be able to do, and I think that's a question mark for them as well too. As much as people were talking about Arch and they got to see it, I got to see it from Julian saying at this point. What Will Howard was able to do for Ohio State or whatever, but there's been a lot of turnover at some of those positions. You lose Abeka Ibuka, you lose a lot on that defensive line from last year, that defense period from last year for Ohio State. So there's a lot of question marks for Ohio State as well. So I'm excited, man. I can't wait for this game to get going.
Now, DG, I would say who you think you can roll with, but of course, we see the flag behind you. We see the Texas behind you. We don't see y'all already come in. Y'all lost a heartbreaker to Georgia in the SEC championship. Y'all lost a heartbreaker to Georgia on the road or at the crib.
At the crib, yeah.
Is this the time where all the Texas fans sit over here and they say, is this the time where Arch and the Texas Longhorns not only make the CFP, but a run at a natty?
So from my perspective, bro, the goal is national championship or nothing. It's national championship or bust. They've been knocking on the door the last 2 years as far as getting to the CFP semifinals the last 2 years and literally being 1 or 2 plays away from, playing for a national title at this point. So yeah, man, like Sark and them, you got to break through that door this year. You at least, in my opinion, you at least have to make the national championship game. You at least have to be in that game. You might not win it or whatever, but I will be satisfied if I'm more satisfied if Texas wins a national championship, but I'll be satisfied if Texas ends up being in that final game of the year or whatever. I think you have to at least be able to break down that door, especially with all the talent you've been able to bring in over these last few years with the recruiting classes that you have brought in. Then you have so many, like I said, you got so many guys that are returning from the previous team, the Anthony Hills of the world, the Michael Tabbs of the world, Malik Muhammad is back. So those guys have to be ready to carry on the torch and remember, the last couple of years of what we've kind of been through. We've been 1 or 2 plays away from being in that game, So yeah, that's the goal, man. The goal's got to be to win the national championship this year.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. We didn't have to make a prediction for these other 2 teams, but we got to make a prediction here. We already know you rocking with Texas.
Yeah.
And fam, I'm with you because I don't like them fucking Buckeyes. This fucking Uncle, baby. We rolling.
I think so. Before I get into my score prediction, I think 2 players that I feel like people really should watch and be on the lookout for the Longhorns this year. Ryan Wingo, to me, I think next to Jeremiah Smith, I think that Ryan Wingo could be one of the best receivers in the nation. Yeah. And I think he's going to put a lot of people on notice this year. I think him and his connection, especially off the field with Arch, he's talked about how much they've been able to connect and things of that nature. I was listening to an interview with him the other day, and he was talking about how much him and Arch are competitive, and they try to beat each other to the facility. And Arch, always ends up beating him and getting there first. Or whatever. So they're definitely excited, man. You can clearly tell that they definitely want this. So I can't wait to see what Ryan Wingo is going to be able to put out on the field. Go ahead.
I'm sitting over here. You can continue talking, but I'm gonna find. This is when I knew I was like, yeah, I don't think Arch gonna. I don't think Arch gonna be in any type of heck. Because there's one thing right here, and I'm gonna send it to you. You can put it up on the jumbo. This thing right here made me say, okay, yeah, no, this is getting ridiculous. This right here is getting ridiculous. I want you to show what I just hit you to the fans here, because I knew off of this.
You sent it to me on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is what I knew. I said, hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Are we not only getting a different breakthrough with like, what are we doing here?
Let me see what this is. Hold on. Give me a second, y'all, to pull this thing up.
Because y'all gotta understand this. And if you were into college football stuff, it came across your feed as well. That is Arch Manning chilling in St. Louis, in East St. Louis.
Yeah, in the
He in them trenches. He in them trenches.
in the trenches in St. Louis. Yeah, out there with Ryan Wingo, man. My QB is hood certified at this point, man. He's welcome to the hood at any point in time.
I think Archie is black too now.
Well, he's from the boot, man. So he had to have some run-ins at some point in time with the trenches. So I don't think he's afraid to be at that point down there with those guys. But it was really good to see him out there trying to
that house. That ain't no nice house.
Yeah,
ain't got no good yard.
Hey, and he said he had a great time, man. It was a great time for him. Definitely got to see what his counterparts and his teammates are came from and what life is like for them. So.
I gotta find that photo. He was over here signing shoes.
Hey man, he had to get ready for the year, man. What better way to get ready for the season than to be right in the trenches. In the hood.
That was a dude. He sitting over here with little kids throwing up the hookah, right. And these little kids mad as. I'm like, is he already a Texas commit too? Y'all get 8-year-olds.
Yeah. Nah, man, I'm happy. Like I said, happy that Arch got the chance to go out there and experience what life is like on the other side of the fence.
Hold on, put up what CJ said.
Arch with the game, yeah. Arch hood certified, man.
That was a fine house.
My quarterback, he good in any hood.
CJ, that grass wasn't cut. That grass ain't been cut for 2 weeks.
Anyway, back to the game. Another player I feel like people really need to watch out for, and I think he could honestly be one of the best defensive players in the nation this year. Calvin Simmons, I think, is going to put a lot of people on notice. If you don't know his name, you will definitely get to know his name for sure. Kid started last year as a true freshman. Like you ain't crazy. Kid started last year as a true freshman on that defensive line as one of the better edges, I feel like, in the nation. I think that if he was able to come out this year in the NFL draft, he'd probably be a top 5, top 10 pick in the NFL draft. So definitely watch out for Colin Simmons. I expect him to have a big game. He's already been chirping a little bit on the timeline and on Instagram about Ohio State. So he definitely got some feelings about how that game ended last year. So he's definitely excited for that. So I can't wait, man. This is gonna be an exciting game. And I'll just say this. I said it to some Ohio State fans. If we win, I'm going to be diabolical. Because the talk and the words that I've heard from the Ohio State faithful, you guys are very, very confident. And I expect you to be. But, let's not act like you're just facing Michigan State here or something like that, or who else is in the Big Ten that comes in? This is not Northwestern.
Purdue.
This is not Illinois, Purdue. I'm sorry, guys. It's the University of Texas Longhorns.
He said it's Huckle, baby.
Yeah, we come into play. So, final score prediction for me. I kind of think it's going to be close. I think it's a 1-possession game.
Okay.
I'll say 27-23 Texas.
Ooh, he said that spread. He said that over under gonna hit this time.
Yeah. I think some points do get put up. I do think it's a little bit of what Chuck said. I think early on it might be a little bit of a defensive slugfest, but I think eventually both offenses kind of start to figure things out and move the ball down the field, and I think we walk out of this shoe with a win.
I'm sitting over here because I'm looking at it. They got Ohio State minus 1.5. Mind you, they give you 3 if you're the home team. So what they saying is this game could really go either way.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what I heard, DG. I heard from an Oregon fan who sat over there and said, "This not gonna be because of Arch. They think it's gonna be because of Sarkisian, and they think that they gonna make Arch throw that bitch in the air and it's gonna get picked off and this, that, and the third." And he thinks that basically that Sark is gonna blow this game for y'all. And I sat over here. I was not drinking the Kool-Aid at all. Because I sat over here and I said, damn, they brought Wisner back. Archer's QB. It felt like when you got a mobile quarterback, you're able to do more things with him. I'm definitely smashing that rushing yards.
Yeah.
Because I think Archer's going to definitely run that rock.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm looking at it, I'm like, I ain't buying it. As much as it's not just because I don't like Ohio State. It's not just because this, that, and the third. We know what's out there. But I think that a lot of people are in this game, I think they overlook Ohio State or they overlook y'all and they just focus all on Ohio State because they're the defending national champions. I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid. I'm going with Texas because I think y'all said a statement right here and there and say, look, we the best team, not only in the SEC, but in college football, we the number 1 ranked team in the country for a reason. This is one. It should be 1 versus 2, but it's 1 versus 3.
Yeah.
But it's crazy, man.
Yeah, the playbook should obviously be open. Sarkisian's kind of talked about that this year. Moving forward, like I said, wish all the best to Quinn Ewers, but there were times there were some limitations to the playbook, what he could possibly be able to do for us. I think with Arch that kind of changes, and I think it gives Sarkisian a chance to be a lot more creative in what he wants to do this year. For the people, like I said, who think that Sarkisian is going to blow this game or whatever, you obviously haven't seen how good he's been in these week 1 matchups early on. I would go back to watching, him against Alabama and taking that team last year. People can say what they want. About the Michigan team last year, but a lot of people were still hyped up on Michigan winning a national championship, and we walked in there and we dominated them. I fully expect Steve Sarkisian to have this team and these guys ready to play, and that's my expectation. I expect nothing less than that. So,
I understand. I'm with you. I'm definitely with you here.
Before we get out of here, Trey wants to. You want to do one upset?
Let's do it. I mean, we got a very loaded packed Saturday. It's a very loaded Saturday, y'all.
So looking down on this thing as far as week 1, you got some good matchups, but you got some Marshall takes on Georgia, which is gonna be a massive blowout. Alabama and Florida State play each other. I think Alabama takes care of business. Sorry, country. I think Florida State gets blown out. Wow. So I'm looking to try to see an upset pick.
A blow up?
Yeah, I think Florida State gets their dome rocked. I'm sorry. I don't think they're in that game at all. Especially after seeing what I saw last year, where I don't know if that program ever gets back to the prestige that they've been in. But I could be wrong. Been wrong before. I will say my upset pick will be LSU beating Clemson on the road in Death Valley and
The
owning
other Death
the
Valley.
the other Death Valley, and taking their dub back to the real Death Valley.
I
Who
don't
you
know.
got?
I'm see. I shout out to the Florida State fans because I get in their spaces. They always show me love. And they sit over here and they say, and I hear Bama fans go off, and that was been one of the biggest things on college football Twitter. You got Alabama fans going after FSU fans, FSU fans. I saw Alabama fans who changed his name to August 30th in his name. Uh, I heard FSU fans talk. The one thing about it is they told me, they said, Trey, before you make any decisions, look up Gus Malzahn's record against Alabama. As I'm looking at it, let me look. Uh, it's 3-5. Now people are like, oh well, he's got 5 losses, but he's beaten Alabama when he was at Auburn. If there's anybody who's giving Alabama a lot more hell than anybody, it's been Florida. It's been Gus Malzahn and the Auburn Tigers. Thomas Castellanos, say whatever you want to say. The dude's 5'10". He's my height, yes. But somehow, some way, there's some weird feeling that's like, hey, it's in Doak, it's in Tallahassee. DJ, you ain't their quarterback no more.
Right.
They got Deuce Robinson from USC. I don't know. They got a kid named. I'm gonna tell you this right now. If y'all don't know his name, there's a reason why I know his name is because at first we had him and then he flipped to UCF to go play for them. And his name is Javon Boggs. His name is Javon Boggs. He's a 4-star freshman. They said that he's getting a lot of movement. We could definitely see him on Friday. It'll be on Saturday. I think Florida State might do the ups because Alabama really hasn't surprised me. Like, yeah, they look good here and there. They got blown out by Oklahoma. They had no receivers.
Yeah.
They lost to Michigan again. Mind you, it's in a bowl game, but you lost to Michigan again. And this is another team that is coming in with a new quarterback in Ty Simpson.
Right.
I don't know. I think that Florida
Are
State.
You're taking the Florida State Seminoles.
I'm taking the nose, baby. I'm taking the nose today. I'm taking them on Saturday. Because they have the chance of doing the most craziest thing, which is shutting Alabama fans up for a minute.
We'll see. Hey, I'm all for it. As much as I hate certain teams like Georgia and Oklahoma, I hate Alabama as well too. So, Florida State can do it. I just don't see it. But I think Kellen DeBoer and them go in there and wreak havoc. So
one thing we know about Chiefs fans and Florida State fans is when we get hype, and mind you, it is a noon game, but to Florida State fans, it's 1 o'clock. Well, no, it's 2:30, so it's 3:30 their time.
Right. Yeah. Full slate, man, of week 1. College football is here. You definitely got to be in the full thick of everything that's going on, man. And what better way to do that than to play on the best daily fantasy app in Underdog Fantasy? Use the promo code KingdomCast to get $1,000 match deposit and your first play free. Man. So head over to Underdog, man. Like I said, it's the best daily fantasy app. A lot of college football going on. NFL is upon the horizon. Next week, September 4th, Cowboys and Eagles take on each other to kick the NFL season over. So yeah, man, head over to Underdog, man. Use that promo code below KingdomCast once again. and get you some ducats. See how
Yeah,
little cheddar cheese.
little cheddar bites.
Yeah, man, that's gonna do it, guys, for us on the Red Shirt Podcast tonight, man. Trey, tell the people where they can find you and follow you at.
Instagram, Snapchat, pretty much everything is different ways. But on Twitter, that way 816. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get my first reaction firsthand for these games and whatnot. It's gonna be exciting. If y'all want to see me free out about Division II football, because my boys Northwest Missouri State, we play tomorrow too against Minnesota State.
They're gonna win their
Oh yeah, we go
10,000 national title.
6, baby, 6. It's all right. Bama D2, of course. But yeah, no, that's where y'all can find me. I don't ever, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't a troll, if you really, you know what I'm saying, you want to talk a little college ball, I got you.
Yeah, man, you can find me my Twitter _ keep it prolific, man.
Wolfie.
Yeah, also find us over and click the link in my Twitter bio on the Discord for Bet the House.
Bet that house,
DJ,
baby.
Trey, my boy Chuck, we're all in there.
Brian.
Daily plays, yeah. On football, like I said, football season is upon us, man. So the players will definitely be coming out. Come over there and have fun with us, man. It's a great community of people just betting and gambling on sports or whatever and just having fun, free of charge, man. We're not experts or anything like that. Just a community of people just trying to have some fun with it. So yeah, man, that's gonna do it for us. Appreciate everybody for being here. Kingdom Cast has a show tomorrow. I think they have a special guest as well too. So yeah, check them out. Chiefs Cut Day was today. A lot of good action going on between the Kansas City Chiefs Kingdom. So check that out, man. Like I said, we appreciate y'all being here, and we are out. Love y'all, man.
Bet that house, baby.
House.
Y'all.